Chain Drug Review and Mass Market Retailers Video Forum.
Hello everyone, I'm Jeffrey Wolt, Editor-in-Chief of Retail Media IQ. Welcome to a special edition of our video forum. We're coming to you from the NACDS Annual Meeting in Palm Beach, Florida, and we're thrilled today to have as our guest Richard Stevens, Senior Vice President of Pharmacy at Costco. Richard, great to see you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Let me begin by asking you, Costco recently has had strong results, particularly in pharmacy. What do you attribute that success to?
Well, I'd like to say it was a lot of what Costco Pharmacy was doing, but I will tell you that a big part of our success, Jeff, has just been the success of the company as a whole. So as I take a look at Costco as a whole and what our pharmacy role is really just to bring our members in and provide a value and a service. And very lucky that Costco is continuing to add locations and to grow, and we're just a benefactor of that. And we also trying to do some things with technology to meet our members and our pharmacy patients where they want us and how they want their prescriptions delivered.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that technology?
Sure, yeah. So some of the things we're doing, we have always said that our pharmacies at Costco were not the most convenient. Big parking lots, big warehouse, and we're in the back of that warehouse. Limited hours of operation. So we're looking at things like putting prescription lockers for patients to pick up after pharmacy hours or on Sunday is a big thing. We're also looking at delivering prescriptions, whether via driving it to the patient's home or even delivering it by mail. So some of those initiatives, our patients so far have reacted very positively to them.
And I know your pharmacists have a lot to do with your success as well, yes?
Yes, absolutely. Again, I will say not anything we're doing, but the company. We've been very lucky to have a very strong pharmacist workforce and one that stays with us for a while. So not a lot of turnover in our pharmacy department, and that allows us to actually grow, promote from within, and really drive programs from a very loyal employee base.
What kind of programs do you have that go above and beyond filling?
Yeah, so I think it's typical of what probably a lot of other retailers are talking about, just the vaccination programs. We're leaning in very, very heavily on the pharmacy technician vaccination. So we've just recently began a big push for that. We've been doing it for a couple of years, but really a big push to increase utilization of our pharmacy technicians. And then just some of the other things that we're doing, even with the NACDS organization, some of the initiatives, leaning in and really trying to be a part of the organization and to drive. Top of the license might not still be the word, but to me it really is, and letting our pharmacists do other things besides the dispensing part of their jobs.
And does that vary state to state, I assume?
We do it, yes, per state guidelines. We do try to run core programs and some where it is allowed everywhere, test and treat, things like that. But yeah, we're limited sometimes by what states allow us, but where we can participate, if we think we can do it well, we will participate.
Going forward, if the regulators work with you, what do you hope the Costco pharmacists will be able to do in the future?
We talk a lot about here at this meeting about provider status and getting provider status for our pharmacists. That would be huge. Being able to interact as a part of really a care team outside of just our pharmacy, whether it be with a health plan perhaps, right? Or a large employer group. We're really looking to try to do some things outside of the box with our pharmacists and our technicians, just to allow us to do some things that actually the pharmacists that we're hiring today coming out of school, that's really the things they're wanting to do. And we're trying to provide an avenue for them to do that.
As we see growth in self-care and this trend toward food as medicine, how do you hope to leverage those two things and involve your pharmacists?
Yep. So just in full transparency, as of right now, we've not really leaned into that initiative yet. We will look to see kind of, I think, what is going to work. One of the things that we have, I think our model being unique is if we were in a grocery store environment, that would be much easier, or even a traditional drugstore with food on the front end. We will continue to find ways to participate in the program where we think, again, if we can do it well. Up to this point, we've been, I think, bystanders to kind of see where it goes, and then we'll participate at some point.
And you mentioned making things easier for the customer. How are you using technology both to get medications in their hands, which you alluded to earlier, and just to communicate with them?
Yeah. So actually, I won't go into all of it. I internally have a joke that we have a pipeline of initiatives, technology that is bigger than a whiteboard that I keep in my office. However, some of the things we're doing, we talked about driving the prescription to the member. We're going to deliver them to the mailbox. Those are two big things. The pickup lockers that I talked about that we're starting to roll out throughout the company. And even just in the communication, allowing our patients to come in and talk to the pharmacist, freeing up the pharmacist to be able to have those conversations is actually very, very big. And I will tell you that as we look across the board, as of right now, we don't think that our pharmacists in our brick and mortar locations, what they provide is actually a little bit of a differentiator for Costco, I think, and also to really just for retail in general.
And as I recall, you're big on central fill, right? You have a large
Yes.
central fill operation.
Yes.
Can you tell me what that does for your company and your pharmacy?
Yeah, so a central fill, we are big in central fill. A large portion of our prescriptions across the entire enterprise are delivered out of our 4 central fill facilities. What that does allow us to do, at the very beginning, it allowed our pharmacists to free up time to do the vaccinations. That was the thing, right? Now it allows them time to have those customer interactions and conversations at the point of sale. And it just frees up and honestly just provides a better work environment where our pharmacists have the time to do the things again that they really want to do, as opposed to some of the things that are probably a little bit more tedious for them.
Final question. Pharmacy as an industry is faced with a lot of financial strain at the
Yes.
moment. How optimistic are you that we can see changes in the reimbursement model that'll make life easier for the entire industry, and I'm sure Costco Pharmacy as well?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'll say this. I've been a pharmacist now for 35 years, and some of the conversations that we are having today about reimbursement, those were the same conversations 35 years ago. What I will say, however, though, I think with the legislative environment today, I think with just the reimbursement for the entire industry, not just a particular segment, it covers all pharmacy. I think right now the environment for change for reimbursement for retail pharmacy, I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic that we're going to see some meaningful change that will allow us to continue to do the things that we want to do.
Okay. Well, let's both hope that happens. Thank you
Yes.
so much for your time.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, real
Thank you.
pleasure.